in the West, we'd look the other way for inconvenient populations, whether it is threatening our allies to colonize Greenland, whether it is looking the other way.
Yes, the geniuses of the Democrat Party, unaware, perhaps, of the fact that Greenland is already a colonized landmass by a kingdom with a king, Frederick X, who inherited the throne from his mother 2 years ago, who abdicated as queen because she had better things to do. These Democrats are, I don't know if they're aspiring to get dumber and dumber, or if it's just happening naturally. Maybe it's the fentanyl, the free crack pipes. Maybe it's the monkeypox. Could be inbreeding. Maybe breeding with Somalis. They could be interbreeding with Somalis and getting dumber and dumber. But they're AOC. I got to tell you, I was going back and forth with a couple of friends last night. We live in the same building, and they say, hey, you remember that Miss South Carolina at the Miss USA contest years ago now, who became kind of a national joke? She was lovely and trying to do the right thing, but kind of had an embarrassing moment during the Q&A at the beauty pageant, and she became, unfortunately for her, famous for that moment. And last night, my friends in our building were saying, this woman she sounds no dumber than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I say, you've got a very valid point there, and I want to share that. I want to share that with you today. And the propaganda of the Democrat Party, they know no bounds, and they assume information dominance, as they long have assumed information dominance, where they know, as Joseph Goebbels knew, as their boy from the Socialist Workers' Party propaganda outfit, the minister of propaganda, that a lie told once remains a lie. A lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth, and that is certainly the mantra of the Democrat Party, which includes Stephen Colbert on CBS. He was very angry, very, very angry, because the network said, hey, listen, you're having a political candidate on who's running against other people in your late-night slot, and we pay you $14 million a year to host this propaganda product of the Democrat Party. You cross-dresser, you. But the idiot, Stephen Colbert, who used to be a different person altogether, but his brain melted down long ago. He's a freak show now. But the people at CBS said, listen, if you're going to have Tellerico on from Texas, you're going to have his opponent on. You know who his opponent is? Who's his opponent? His opponent is another Democrat. And she is a mental case, a well-known mental case. But and Stephen Colbert, we played a bit of it yesterday. He's very angry, very, very angry, because CBS said, they didn't say you can't have Tellerico on. They just said that there are FCC regulations that exist and have for generations. And if you're going to have this candidate on, you have to give equal time to the other candidate. And we hear about that often here on the radio, at election time in particular, but not exclusively. And here comes CBS and the propaganda hua. He's a hua. Stephen Colbert. He wanted to have a Democrat candidate on because he likes this Democrat candidate, and he does nothing but propaganda for the left. And CBS said you're going to have to do equal time. If you have this person on, you got to have that person on. And that caused Stephen Colbert to become furious, to become irate. And he dressed in ladies' clothing and went out playing in traffic or something. He's a mental case, and he's indicting CBS and the FCC. And, well, CBS is having none of it. CBS denies forcing Stephen Colbert to not air Tellerico interview over FCC rule. And now they got this back and forth going on. Who's he running against, Michael? He's running against it. It's a primary. And CBS said, oh, you can't just have one Democrat on. You got the CBS rule. You got to have both Democrats on because, we're a Democrat Party outfit. Jasmine Crockett is the opponent. Jasmine Crockett applauds Stephen Colbert's strategy to save interview with her political opponent. It's important we resist. Yeah, you should go out and resist a subway train, honestly. You should resist self-immolation and in the end fail. The Democrat Party is very severely mentally ill. And we've got that. But never mind that because it gets better from there. CBS and da-da-da. And then what did I find? I found on the other network next door, also part of the Democrat Party's propaganda apparatus, C. Joseph Goebbels, Jimmy Kimmel. That's a different network altogether. Jimmy Kimmel to headline House Democrats fundraiser dinner. And this is real good, $25,000 a ticket for the Democrats. It's in Los Angeles, California. And Jimmy Kimmel, using his network TV position, courtesy of ABC television network, they give us The View and things like that. And George Snuffleupagus, propaganda Democrat Party front groups. And Jimmy Kimmel to headline $25,000 per ticket LA fundraiser for the House Democrats. And for who? For Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem, the jihadi, anti-Semite, anti-capitalist, Hakeem Jeffries, because the Democrats know that every network is theirs for the taking, like a teenage girl on Epstein Island, where you'll find 99% Democrats, just by the way. But never mind that, because NBC and ABC and CBS aren't covering that either. CNN is not covering that. The New York Times is not covering that. But there it is, propaganda apparatus of the Democrat Party. Isn't it wonderful? We have Mark Zuckerberg of Meta. They call it Meta now, testifying on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. today on how terrible social media is. I think I summed it up beautifully years ago now. Social media isn't, right? Going with friendly fire isn't, common sense isn't, and the Democratic Party isn't. Remarkable things. We've got the propaganda and the brainwashing that they engage up by repetition, a la Joseph Goebbels, who is, I think, the Reverend Al Sharpton's favorite propagandist, although Sharpton is doing what he can. So we have that. Also, this is something. Trump commemorates 5-year anniversary of Rush Limbaugh's death with an Oval Office video commemorating the great Rush Limbaugh and passing yesterday. There were people talking about it everywhere, the 5-year anniversary of Rush Limbaugh dying, and the President of the United States having an event in doing a video in the Oval Office to commemorate the great Rush Limbaugh, who was on our side, unlike every filthy, cross-dressing, bloodthirsty Democrat in the country. Gotta say. Oh, and also another fun story broke that the Democrats have been recording themselves doing what chimps do in a zoo cage, and they're going on and on about how great Barack Obama was. And one of the hilarious things that came out of it is these Obama administration people making videos of themselves like teenagers because they have the brains of children. And that one of the headlines from the Associated Press, inside Obama's team, and I love this is the headline from the Associated Press, inside Obama's team's blind spot on Trump. Obama possessive S apostrophe S, teams possessive apostrophe S. Nobody can write anymore. Inside Obama's team's blind spot on Trump. You could say the Obama team blind spot on Trump, something that would read much more easily, but never mind that. And here's the great part, is that Barack Obama, now on election night in 2016, when Hillary Clinton hilariously lost and will never be president, and we learned that night, and Donald Trump hilariously won the presidency, and the New York Times said that Hillary had a 98% chance of winning or something wrong like that. Great stuff. But it turns out Barack Obama and Susan Rice got together and sobbed openly. They cried and cried and cried on election night. And it had to be pretty late, too, because it was a late-night win. I remember waking up my best gal to confirm the Donald Trump win, and we laughed and laughed, and it was hilarious. And we held up pictures of Hillary Clinton, and we laughed and laughed. We didn't really hold up pictures of Hillary Clinton, but we got them on our wall. Just kidding. Don't have them on our wall. But it's great stuff because Barack Obama and Susan Rice, his national security advisor, she knew nothing about national security, which makes her perfect for the job. And she hates America, even more perfect, right? But Barack Obama and Susan Rice cried the night away together. They sobbed and sobbed. And turns out Obama was dressed as a lady while they did that. Did you see that detail? That's kind of weird. But Larry Sinclair told us. And here's the thing, and it is fun, that on election night 2016, Barack Obama and Susan Rice cried and cried and cried in front of the White House staff. And they all said, oh, no, we really did lose. Barack Obama, who can slow the rise of the oceans, is crying like a little schoolgirl because Donald Trump won and he likes America. He had been a Democrat 20 minutes earlier, Donald Trump had, but never mind that. Hanging out with Jesse Jackson. I played Jesse, and I played audio yesterday of Jesse Jackson praising Citizen Trump years ago for all the good work he had done for Operation Rainbow Push. They call it an operation like it's a military operation. Rainbow, but it's not transgender this time around. Maybe he was transphobic. Maybe Jesse Jackson was transphobic, as the Democrats like to describe everyone on Earth that's normal. And we have any updates on the latest transgender mass shooting, which is perfectly normal? We had the liberal on my TV show last night lie about it, of course, because that's what liberals do when they speak, is they lie. And remarkable stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, there are 20,000 mass shootings last year, and only 0.5% of them were transgender. Well, 100% of them were Democrats, at least 99.5%. You guys should stop shooting everybody. Let's start with that, you demented, cross-dressing, drug-addled mental cases. Do you think they're born like that? Is this situational or is it genetic? It's hard to say for sure. But we got all kinds of mad Democrat Party stuff, Democrat lunatics, and they're crying and crying. Isn't that great? And the governor in Maryland, who has that giant poop stream going into the Potomac River, the largest in the history of the United States of America, and he came out and said, "Oh yeah, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault." You guys have been leaking that stuff since before Trump was sworn in last year. I think they're really mentally ill. And it turns out this dimwit in the governor of Maryland, who's a racist, let's just call it like it is, he's out there. You know what he's doing now? In Maryland, we defend constitutional rights. That's the headline from this. And then he outlawed state cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. You have a constitutional right to rape and murder Rachel Morin, who's a mother of 5, who's out walking. And the Democrats defend rapists and murderers because so many Democrats are rapists and murderers themselves. I think that's fair, isn't it? Yes, it is. And they care very deeply. They care very deeply about some things that are generally inexplicable. But we've got that. So Wes Moore, he's planning on running for president. He's one giant poop stain on the nation. And now we won't cooperate with ICE because we don't want illegal alien gang members arrested before they rape and murder again. The Democrats, more Democrats, more murder. More Democrats, more rape. More Democrats, more crime. Isn't that great? And then they care very deeply about. She was an LGBTQ spectrum person, Renee Good. Care very deeply about her. But I went back today to look at Chicago and just see how things are going so far in Chicago. And so far this year in Chicago, they've had 43 people shot and killed and 148 more shot and wounded. So 191 people shot so far in Chicago. Isn't that amazing? 43 of them shot and killed, 3 more murdered by other means. And not a peep out of any Democrat anywhere. They're fine with that. That's perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable, isn't it? Yes, it is. And you see this lady in Maine. She's a Democrat. She's in the state of Maine, and they're not normal anymore. I got to tell you, Democrats, the left, they targeted Minnesota and Maine places where you thought that normal people lived, but the mental illness that is the Democrat Party. I have an update for you on Tricia McLaughlin, the spokeswoman at the Department of Homeland Security. The Democrats, she has announced she's leaving the Department of Homeland Security. Democrats have already conjured up a series of conspiracy theories that are demonstrative of their mental incapacity. So we've got that. And wait, who's the biggest threat to everybody? It's Christians. Christians in America. It's on CNN. You got to hear this lady on CNN. Yeah, the rise of Christian nationalism, because maybe all these transgender people are really Christian nationalists and we didn't know. You guys should stop shooting people. You're an embarrassment to civilization. Yeah, when I hear this, the CBS thing, Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a Democrat, and now we've really got to worry about those violent Christian nationalists. That's what CNN, they should be denied access to the White House as journalists from this point on. They're not a news organization. I used to work there. I know. They're an embarrassment. So we got that. Yeah, well, you heard this CNN stuff. Yeah, when do you hear this CNN circled fast at a table? It's really something. Fear white people, fear Christians, and fear what they call nationalists. That is, if you're on the side of the United States of America, which they obviously are not. But when do you hear this psychotic, racist, bigoted, right out there parading around, bare naked, racist bigots? In the meantime, let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Fayez calling from Florida. Fayez, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hey, Fayez. Welcome.
Hi. I wanted to comment about this Obama guy. The guy who got the Nobel Peace Prize without knowing the way to the bathroom in the White House yet. Because we have corrupt systems. Before even Big Mike can have the chance to untuck his stuff from the Target garments. But anyway, this guy hates America to the fullest of his heart. And if nothing is done to expose him and to destroy his influence on America, the sin of America will continue to hurt us on the long run. He did so much damage in 8 years that maybe it will need 80 years to root it out. But if we don't start now, we will continue to be in trouble.
I agree with you completely. And I got to say, Fayez, he changed the trajectory of the Democrat Party, which is much more left today than it was before Barack Hussein Obama. And he's look, they've corrupted, the left has taken over, the real left, and they are here to destroy it all. All this CNN ridiculousness. I want to share that. I think I want to share that for the next hour. I've got, today is Wednesday, also Hump Day in the Clinton household, and Mailbag Day here on the Chris Plant Show. I haven't even found my mailbag questions yet, but I know they're here somewhere. Yeah, they had Abby Phillip on CNN going crazy because they're all mental. They're just demented. But white Christian nationalism is the biggest threat we face. And wasn't it FBI Director Christopher Wray that said the biggest threat is white Christian nationalists? We had more transgender tattooed mass murderers in the last 2 weeks than there have been Christian nationalist attacks since the Democrats were attacking civil rights marchers with dogs and fire hoses with their boy Bull Connor and their governors, George Wallace and Orville Faubus and on and on. But I look forward to getting to this CNN ridiculousness. It's really something. And they're talking about the Fulton County, Georgia vote election day corruption investigation. And suddenly Anna Navarro starts screaming about, what did she start screaming about? Screaming about how ICE agents arrested somebody, what was he? Who was attacking him with a shovel. And like, well, I thought we were talking about Georgia and voting. But wait till you hear this mental meltdown. And then all the idiots in the media they produce the opposite of what happened, like Daily Beasts, cross-dressers that they are. CNN host skewers MAGA guest after on-air meltdown. None of that happened. There was no on-air meltdown except from the Democrats, who are limited in intellectual capacity. And the Democrats had a meltdown, and then the idiot Democrats at the Daily Beast say that the one Republican there maybe had a meltdown, and the CNN host skewers. None of that happened. But if you're dumb enough to get your news from other Democrats, then I guess you get what you pay for. Now, with that said, I look forward to getting to that. Because I saw that this morning, and I'm like, oh, look at this. This is something. But let me get to the other. There's one story out of Maine, the great, beautiful state of Maine, and the Democrats, and we have Stephen Colbert, too. Speaking of meltdowns, what is the matter with these people? But just amazing, amazing stuff. All of them, the Democrats. Okay, so it's not 11, it's 19. Hang on, let me go there. I'll go to 19. Much better there. Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay, this is Maine. In Maine, they have a left-wing, unserious, unintelligent Secretary of State who's running for governor. She's running for governor of the state. And she is a menace to civilization, to America. She's wrong about everything. She's a dim light. And let's go to her. Her name is Shenna, Shenna, not Sheena, like the teenage something or other, but Shenna Bellows. And she does bellow, I've got to say, like Dr. Bellows. But there it is. Maine Secretary of State, Shenna Bellows. And she's very, very concerned. They don't work with ICE, right? They refuse to work with ICE, just like Maryland and California. And they want the country overrun by non-English speaking jihadis that will kill everyone that you've ever known, and your dog, too. Oh, you see, the Muslim woman in New York wants to ban dogs as pets in homes, so they can only be outside like the homeless people that they kill every time it gets cold. Yeah, the Democrats, they peeled up 12 dead homeless people that froze to death on the sidewalks of New York because it got cold for a week. And the Democrats pick up their bodies, as I've been saying for so many years now. The Democrat solution for mental illness and homelessness is to throw them on the street, let them die, and then pick up their bodies when they overdose on drugs or die of the cold, because the Democrat. But I digress. Let's go to Shenna Bellows, the Secretary of State in Maine, who is very concerned that illegal alien gang members are afraid to go to the crack store, and so they have to bring them free crack at their house. Okay, it's food. Bring them. Oh, they're afraid to go to the grocery store. Well, that's probably because they're illegal aliens in the country illegally. Every day, every morning when they wake up, they're still here illegally. And the Democrats, they say, oh, no, it's legal migrants who are afraid to go to the store to get food. And so they're withering away, and they're no longer morbidly obese Somalis. You know, Maine is full of Somalis, too, and they've stolen tons and tons of money and free stuff that we give away because we're committing suicide as a culture. Here is the Maine Secretary of State, Shenna Bellows, on ICE because the poor illegal aliens.
I think the greater concern, what we saw with the recent ICE surge, was people, and I know many of you were involved in the mutual aid networks of support, we saw people afraid to go to work, afraid to go to school. Absenteeism in the greater Portland school districts was over 20%. We saw people afraid to go get groceries. And so my concern becomes, if you're afraid to go to work, you're going to be afraid to go to vote.
And she wants illegal aliens to be comfortable voting. If you're too afraid to send your kids to school, you're an illegal alien. If you're too afraid to go to the grocery store to get food to feed your kids with welfare money that I'm paying for, then you're an illegal alien. And the Democrats want a global welfare state for every deadbeat on earth, every jihadi, every mentally ill, cross-dressing lunatic. And wait a minute, they're afraid to go to the store. And this is what she's concerned about. And the what school absenteeism was down more than 20% because people were being arrested in Minnesota for being illegal alien child rapists and wanted for murder in their home countries. And the Democrats want more murder, you know that, by their policies and by everything they fight for, because that's what they want more of. And 20% plus school absenteeism because illegal aliens were arrested in Minnesota. Any idiot illegal alien who stays home and kids don't go to school because ICE is enforcing the law in Minnesota should be immediately ejected from the country by nailing them to a log and pushing them out of New York Harbor, I think. Kind of reverse reverse Ellis Island thing. Yeah, and you're afraid to vote. This is what she's concerned about. That people who are illegal, so illegal, that they won't let their kids go to school, they won't go to the grocery store to get food to feed their kids, and she wants them to vote. The Democrat Party is mentally ill. Every registered Democrat is mentally ill. Here is Shenna Bellows.
That's where our awesome absentee voting, protected by Maine Voices, Maine Votes, and constructed over years.
Maine Voices, Maine
we have
Votes.
30 days of no excuse absentee voting.
30
People
days.
can call their clerk and get their ballot. They can go online and request it and have it mailed to them. They can make arrangements to get their ballot in other ways, or they could go in person to the clerk's office early.
If you're so illegal or so stupid that you can't vote on your own, I don't want you voting. You're too stupid to have a vote. You should be nailed to a log and pushed out of New York Harbor, back to wherever the hell you came from, whatever beep-hole country that you helped turn into a beep-hole country. So the idiot Democrats, well, we've got 30 days. I'm sorry, the election day is 30 days now. Election day is a month to accommodate illegal aliens that are too stupid or too afraid because they're illegal aliens to vote, because they're too afraid to go to the grocery store. Every day is an IQ test, Shauna Bellows. And you and your friends, I got to tell you, you guys, you are not the brightest people in the world. But there she is. She's very, very upset. Call the clerk giving instructions on how illegal aliens can vote. And you've got 30 illegal alien days to vote because the Democrats say, oh, Trump is so mean that illegal alien gang member rapists, drug traffickers, human traffickers, child sex traffickers are afraid to vote on Election Day, and it's illegal for them to vote, you see. That's the whole thing about the SAVE Act and so on is, are you a U.S. citizen? But the Democrats, we talked about this recently, there are 19 states in the United States where it doesn't matter whether you're a citizen, you can get a driver's license in the United States, right? And if you're a legal resident, then that's fine. But here's the thing. The Democrats in 14 of those states automatically register everyone to vote when you get a driver's license, even if you're not a citizen. And that means that they're corrupt and that they're trying to steal elections. That's the thing about them. There's nothing normal about any of this. And she's running for governor now. She's running for governor of the state of Maine. Maine is one of my brother, Daniel, used to be a TV reporter in Portland, Maine. Went up and visited him, had a great time hanging on the beach and driving golf balls into the ocean and eating lobster by the bale and drinking cold beer. Great stuff. But these people, I've got to say, there's nothing normal about this. They're saying that non-citizens, why would you, I know plenty of non-citizens from various countries around the world. None of them are afraid to vote if they can vote legally. None of them are afraid to go to the grocery store. Got a friend from Brazil, got friends from France. Honestly, there are people I work with, people who come from Bulgaria and come from what is it, Georgia, the former Soviet Republic of Georgia. Nobody's afraid to vote. Nobody's afraid to go to the grocery store because they're not gun-toting criminals. But that's normal people. The Democrat Party, there's nothing normal about them.
Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
I be someone.
Abby someone.
Abby who? Abby Normal.
Abby Normal.
I'm almost sure that was the name.
I'm almost sure that was the name. Abby Normal. They put Abby Normal's brain in the monster, and the monster is the Democrat Party, and they've installed an Abby Normal brain. These people. Yes, sir. That's true. And it's all about getting illegal aliens to vote and stealing elections. There is no other possible explanation, no other available explanation to say that people that were smart enough to immigrate to this country and go through all the legal processes and the paperwork and you got to do a lot, and it costs a lot of money, and it can take years to become legally ensconced in the great United States of America. And then you're so afraid that you can't go to a grocery store. Well, I don't think that you or your offspring are going to be storming the beaches of Normandy when the day comes around. So you should go back to the beephole that you fled because it's such a beephole, and not help to turn our country into a beephole just like your Somali beephole, where, by the way, in Somalia, they require voter ID. So the Democrats are actually behind the tribal, jihadi, Somali lunatics when it comes to culture and running an election. And it's not that they're behind. It's that they are that corrupt. They know that everything they say is a lot of bourgeois. Let's go, Michael, to the telephones. Let's go to Joseph calling from Austin, Texas, the hotbed of leftyism in Texas. Joseph, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Joseph.
I was just wondering. I was wondering when they were sobbing together, Susan Rice and President Obama, did they say, we got to scramble and get a hold of Azra Turk and all our other agents that have been, hitting on George Papadopoulos, and we got to regenerate and make sure we get a big file folder ginned up so we can undermine President Trump when he comes in here.
That is good stuff, and I haven't used Azra Turk's name in far too long, part of the left-wing conspiracy. And we're going to have to make up something about Russian collusion, say the communists of the Democrat Party, who are closer to Putin on the political spectrum than they are to even Bill Clinton at this point. Forget about John F. Kennedy. But I got to say, that's fun. Good use of Azra Turk. She should be kept alive. One of the conspirators that the left put out there to sabotage President Trump from the Obama White House on down through the festering pool of goo that is the Democrat Party. But yeah, Obama and Susan Rice sobbing and crying. That's kind of the hilarious part of the story, isn't it, Joseph?
Well, she's the one who wrote the memo leaving the White House on January 20th before noon that it was all by the book. That memo tells you that it was not by the book. And so we need to know the age-old Chris Plant question, who is Azra Turk?
Yeah, who is Azra Turk? Yeah, that's right. Azra Turk. And it's another story that we never got an answer to, isn't it?
Yes, it's been over a year. Is somebody looking into the total corruption of our intelligence services?
Like a third world nation with the felonious 51 signing on to that BS letter on the lead up to Election Day, that the reporting by the New York Post and only the New York Post on the Hunter Biden laptop, where Joe Biden gets a 10% cut of the Chinese action, and they lied to us about everything. And you're right. I got to tell you, we're going to need a bigger Justice Department, I think, Joseph.
Well, are those 51 guys out looking for the PP tape?
Honestly, yeah, they spread that falsehood also. And whatever they accuse you of, it's what they're doing, Joseph. So I don't want to see the Barack Obama PP tape with Larry Sinclair, but it may be out there.
Oh, I love the show, sir.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you, Joseph. Have a great Austin, Texas day. Look out for the crazy people. I know there are a lot of them. That's where the Texas keeps their crazy people, is in Austin. It's the state capital. State capital. Who was it? My great-grandfather was a stone cutter on the state capitol there in Austin, Texas. Stone cutter. Laborer. Orteg. I got to tell you, Joseph, if justice were coming to the Democrats, they'd be running for the hills right now. Yeah, what do you hear this? In New York, a Muslim woman, an activist, wants to ban dogs as pets, at least indoors in New York City. Because they got Zohran Mamdani there, right? And well, you hear this, and then who is it? Randy Fine says, stirred up a little trouble. Congressman said, if I got to choose between Muslims and dogs, I'm going to choose dogs. And that, of course, caused upheaval because, you're saying Muslims are worse than dogs. Now, I'm saying that this Muslim lady wants to ban dogs in the name of Islam and Sharia law because dogs are unclean, so no more pets. They have to be outdoors like homeless people where they will die when it gets cold. All right, let's go to the phones. Michael, let's, look at the clock. Look at the clock. Should I go? Let's go to Matt calling from Rockville, Maryland. Matthew, you're on the Chris Plant Show. Matt in Rockville. Is Matt, I see on the big board there, talk to Jasmine. Matt said there have been 3 government shutdowns under Trump's second term, all of them perpetrated by Democrats, by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats shutting the government down. Because then they shut the government down, Matthew, and then they blame the Republicans. And CNN says it's the Republicans, and George Stephanopoulos on ABC says the Republicans, and Stephen Colbert on late night TV says it's the Republicans, and Jimmy Kimmel, who's having fundraisers for the Democrats and for Hakeem Jeffries, racist, anti-Semite, anti-American that he is, they're having fundraisers and promoting their, isn't that amazing? The Democrats shut the government down. They say the Republicans did it. And then the news media and the entertainment media, they lie for the Democrats because lying is their baby.